All right, so today we'll be looking at some actual practical problems that people post on job boards where they're looking for people with AI skills to help them solve certain problems. Now, the reasoning behind this is there's no point learning just as tools and not knowing what you do with them. Most of us are trying to learn AI not just to help our jobs, but to also make some money. And I'll be going through different things that people post on job sites, and we'll see how much they're paying for those things and what they tend to ask for. Now, today being the first day that we're covering this aspect of things, I've picked this one job that was posted. It's asking for somebody who has n8n skills to help build an AI automation workflow solution. Now, what they're asking for is that you build a refund request workflow automation. So essentially, they receive emails asking for refunds. I imagine somebody completes a form on their website, and then an automatic email is generated and sent to their inbox. Then they want the AI to pick up the email, extract these key bits of information from the email, and then the rest of the workflow takes place. Now, I've extracted this into a more readable format in Notion, which is here. So there are 9 different aspects to this job. We probably wouldn't go through all 9. I'm arranging for us to, or I'm planning for us to just go through the first 2.5. We won't go into the Slack aspect, but just follow me. So the key things that we need to know are n8n. We need to know how to use an LLM to retrieve some of these fields from the email, and we also need to understand how we can use the LLMs to generate synthetic data. So synthetic data is just fabricated data that we can use for our testing. All right, so I'm just going to read through this really quickly, the summary, so that we're all on the same page. So what this guy is looking for is they're trying to create some automations or set up some automations. They want this to be the beginning of the automation. So basically, they want the automation to streamline the refund request, and they want that refund request to be refunds or emails that are sent to a Gmail account, and then using OpenAI to extract all the bits of information. So they split it out really nicely into 9 different parts. The first part says they want the trigger to be from Gmail. So basically, there'll be email monitoring using the automation that we're going to build. And the condition that they'll be looking for is refund request form. Right, so how would you do that in n8n? So n8n is one of the really popular robotic process automation platforms. So these are platforms that are used to automate different steps and different workflows. And n8n is really big at the moment, so that's what I've opted for us to use. On the course, I talk about Make. n8n is a different, is an alternative to Make. So let's wait for this to come up. So I'm creating a new workflow. n8n has 2 different ways you can use them. One is a version that lives on the cloud or in the cloud. So that one's a system set up by n8n themselves, and you can just plug into that cloud and use their cloud to process the workflows. What I've got here is a version I've installed locally on my test machine, which is my laptop in this case. So hopefully the laptop would last through the day and not crash at some point. But let me shut down a few things so that there's less running in the background. I think we've finished with Safari for now. You just need to believe that I've copied everything into my Notion template. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to monitor emails, so Gmail. So when you go into n8n and you click New Workflow, Create New Workflow, you'd have a plus in the middle, and it will say Add First Step. So let's click Add First Step. We'll go Gmail. And then Gmail comes. So when you click plus, the thing on the side, a panel just slips through from the right hand side. We'll go to Gmail and we go to On Message Received. That'll be tricky. What other actions are there? Let's see some other actions. Add label to message, delete a message, get a message, mark a message, So label things, thread actions. No. So the most appropriate one is get a message. Let's try that. Okay, so get a message. If you're just doing this for the first time, you'd have to set up an account, and the process for doing that is fairly straightforward. You need to go into the Google console and enable some APIs, and then you extract the access credentials. Now, if that's something that you want me to go through at some point, just let me know in the feedback or in comments, and I'll create a course specifically showing you how to get the APIs and the authorization from Google. Okay, so this one is get a message, add a label, remove. Okay, so get a message. Now we don't want to simplify properties, attachment prefix. No, that's not an option we want. Don't actually log the message ID. So it's not this one then. If it's just giving me, if it's requesting a message ID, then it's not that. Let's not get the message. We want it to monitor the inbox. Let's go here. Let's go back to Gmail. Add label, delete a message. Thread actions. Let's see. I'll do that when message arrives. Okay, so I'm going for a Gmail trigger. Still the same Gmail account up here. The mode, it will check every minute. And then the event is message received. You have other events. I don't know, there's no other event. It's just message received. Okay, checking every minute. And then here, we're adding the filter. So what is the filter? The filter would be, what happens if we make it more complicated? What does that do? Okay, still just the attachment. We'll look at attachment later, but for now, let's just do a search. So search as attachment. Okay, so they want us to use the same format as the Gmail search box. So what does Gmail search box give us? We have subject. Okay, so subject colon, what we're looking for. So subject colon anniversary party. Now the job spec said they want us to search for emails that have refund request form. Right, so we come in here, and is it uppercase S for subject? Just yeah, no, it's lowercase. Okay, so lowercase subject, and then colon, and then it's refund request form. So in examples, they don't have quotes around this string, so it seems okay. Okay, so that's that. The job spec also talked about the attachments. So we could say include, we could remove the simplify and say an option, download attachments. Okay, we'll download attachment prefix. So we'll just say download attachments. So, so that's the first step that we've just built. Okay. Right. When clicking execute workflow, so we've gone there. Right, let's see. Provided. Okay, so sometimes your token might be expired and you'd have to regenerate it. So let's go from here, and then I'll sign in. so ask you all these questions and then you just continue. So it's flagging those errors because I'm logging in from a non-G Suite account, but if you have G Suite, it's a lot more straightforward than that. So now it's signed in, so this should now go to account connected. Okay, so it's gone green and it's saved. So let's see if we, yeah, so now it's saying no Gmail data found. We didn't find any data in Gmail to simulate an event. Okay, so that's account. So now and again you'd have to renew the account because it expires as a security thing. So we've got the subject, refund request form, and then we've got download attachments, right? So what they have asked for is when a matching event email is detected, OpenAI is used to extract the following fields from the body and or attachments. So let's leave the attachments for now and just focus on the body. So the body of the email will contain these fields, and we want the AI to extract those fields from the email on our behalf. Okay, so assuming that this has triggered and nothing is found, just going to delete that so that, okay, so after the Gmail has triggered, let's now go to the next stage, which would be using the LLM to extract those fields that the job has defined. So here we're just going to do AI. Let's go AI agent. Or is there a simpler one actually? Let's see if there's a simpler one. I'm just going to do OpenAI. Chat model. Let's go OpenAI. So in this case, the customer did specify which LLM wanted to use. So create an assistant. We actually want to message a model and use that. So we're not going for assistants. So assistants are they're chunks of prompts that live within the developer side of the OpenAI platform. So it's not the same as ChatGPT. There's another endpoint called platform.chatgpt.com, but we're not using that. We're not creating an assistant or using an assistant. So in this case, we're going to message the chatbot or the LLM at the back end to get our responses. So we pick our model. So when you click that OpenAI, you go in here. Resource is text, not assistant. So we're doing text. And then message a model. Those are the options we've got. Select message a model, and then we select the model we want to use. In our case, let's use 4.1 mini because 4 mini is fairly cheap. So 4.1 mini, I'm just going to go for this one with the date on it. And then with the prompt, so this is where you need to define what you want the AI to do for you. So in this case, we're saying we wanted to extract different fields from an email body. Now I've also used ChatGPT to generate the prompt that needs to go in that place. So this is what you do typically. So I've specified previously the fields that need to be extracted from the email, and then with some enhancements and iteration, I've ended up with this one. Where is the one I ended up with? Yeah, so with this one. So there's something called few shot prompting. This is where you give the LLM some examples of what it's likely to receive, and you tell it what the output should be like. So here it's going to receive a sample email that contains name, phone, email address, pickup address, and stuff like that. And then this is what it should look like, the output should look like. I've also specified that I want the output to come out in JSON format. And the reason I've said JSON format is because I want something structured and something that I can use further down the line. And in addition to that, the next item on the list also talks about structured data. So it's much easier if from the beginning you structure it and just tell it to return the information in JSON format. So I'm just going to copy this. Now this is the system prompt. There is another one further down, which would be the user prompt. So here, back to n8n. In n8n, you've got different roles. So when I mentioned system prompt, the role is effectively system. So system is essentially the overarching rules that will govern the interaction with the LLM. So it's not something you change, it's something you define, and the LLM would respect what the system has said it has to do. Then the user prompt is what you, the user, will type in, and then it can work. It can provide you with a response based on what the system prompt has defined. So in our case, it's quite a long one. So from the next email, so we've got the examples in there, 2 examples, and then we've got the instruction right at the beginning. So that's the system. So once you've done that, you need to make allowances for the user prompt. So you do add a message. That's where the next one will be the user. So the role is user, and then the prompt is what we're going to copy next. So it's saying copy this, and then when you do it with ChatGPT, it will tell you that you need to replace this bit here with the information that comes from the previous step. So how would this work? So how it would work is this JSON email body is the data that came from the previous step, but we haven't executed the previous step, so it doesn't quite know what to do. So let me just rename this so that just got a refund request workflow. Okay, so that's saved. Okay, so that's good. So I've connected my Gmail trigger to my OpenAI model, and then what else does he want? Okay, so OpenAI reviews the structured data against your custom refund policy. Right, so in my case, what I've decided to do is I'm going to provide the custom refund policy that I use ChatGPT to generate as another OpenAI step. So this first step extracts the fields that I've listed above, and then once that's extracted, I'll send that into the step that would evaluate all of the information against the refund policy. So let's go OpenAI again. And then I'm just going to say messaging model. And again, this opens up again. Now, I've also provided this example. Okay, so this is the email. Okay, so the next system prompt says you're a professional customer service assistant for a towing company. Your task is to generate clear and courteous email responses to customers regarding their refund requests, right? And use the provided structured input to generate the appropriate email. So, and then it says do not include any JSON in the output, right? So the user prompt in this case says, based on the following refund evaluation result, generate an appropriate email response. So here we've got the customer details, the email, the date of a transaction and stuff like that. and then a refund evaluation says whether it's eligible or not, and then an email is generated. So this bit is the email generator. The aspect that actually reviews the email or the reason for the refund is here, right? So you're a policy evaluator for a towing company, and then here is the refund policy. That's part of the system prompt. So that's one of the requirements in here, where it says somewhere. Yeah, so it says here the custom refund policy provided in the system prompt. So we're doing exactly what they've asked for. So let's copy this into the system prompt here. So we'll change the role to system, and then we'll add another one, and then the next one will be the user prompt, which would be the information that we put in, which is the input, and that's it. So we'll fix this up in a bit, but for now, that's what we've got, right? Forget the error message, that's fine. We can solve that later. So here we can, let's rename this to refund evaluator, just so that we know what each one is doing. And then this one, we rename it to field extractor. Okay, so we've got those two things, and okay, so that's okay. So we've got all of that. Process the system prompt, AI generated professional email draft. Okay, so and then the next thing I want to do is generate the email, right? And we'll make that also another OpenAI step. And those three things are doing exactly roughly the same thing. This one is GPT-4. I don't think I chose the model on the other one, so I'll go back and fix that. 4 mini, and then the prompt here would be, okay, we've got a system prompt. I generally like to have a system prompt and a user prompt, but you don't have to have both. You definitely need a user prompt. Okay, so that's that. Put this in here. Right, okay. So we've got these three. Just going to generate the GPT-4 1 mini. Okay, just rename this. Right, okay, so what do we have here? So something that triggers when an email arrives with the subject refund request. And then the information from there is pulled out by the field extractor. All those fields are pulled out into a JSON format. And then that JSON format is then passed to the refund evaluator, which evaluates the refunds based on the refund policy. And then based on the outcome from the evaluator, we then generate some emails. So what we've just built would cover the first two things that were requested by this job. The others we'll look at a bit later. But let's deal with the first two, because there will be some complications with these, especially around, okay, so we've extracted JSON from the LLM and we're passing that straight into the refund evaluator. But then the email generator doesn't expect the JSON in the format in which it comes out of the refund evaluator. It's expecting specific fields to be passed to it. So let's see what that looks like. But first we need to send an email into the Gmail that looks like a refund request. So if I go here and just just open up a Gmail. Let me compose something. Let's see if it picks that up. Let's compose. Right, so to OpenAI. So I'll send it to myself, and then we'll get the refund request form in the subject. And then we've got a sample email here. Where are the sample emails? I have some example emails. Just 1 second. Let's find them. Okay, so let's just do this one with Jason Lee. Just copy it. Oops. Okay, so I'm saying, hello, I'm contacting you to request a refund due to a problem with the recent tow, blah, blah, blah. And then all of the information is there. So if we send this, right, so it's come into me. So if I execute this now, it should pick it up. Yep, it's picked it up. And it's gone to the field extractor. Yep, and it's gone, now it's going to the refund evaluator, and then it's going to the email generator. Okay, so everything has got ticks. So that's amazing. So let's see what came out of each one. So let's click that. So you can see here that what did it do? Name. Okay, so the content. So the content is the actual JSON that we wanted. So that's what's come out of the first one, right? So the input is the message from Gmail. So Gmail has put it in. Oh, I didn't actually populate this. Oh, that's a bit rubbish. Okay, so once this reads the Gmail, we want it to use the text. So the text, this is the text. So put the text in here. Right, so if there's any field it doesn't recognize, it goes red. So here, it can now see what the body looks like, okay? So that's the body of the email, so that's what we've put in here. So that the output should be a lot better next time. So that's that. It goes yellow because I haven't run it since. And then with this refund evaluator, okay, so the content wasn't quite right. So let's, if we rerun, and let's say we resend this email. Just going to compose another email, and then just put that there. Put the subject refund request form, and then just send it to myself for test purposes, and then we send it. Okay. So now if I trigger the n8n again, let's execute this workflow. It should pick up, yes, it's picked up something. Okay. So it probably still isn't right, even though they're all green. But let's see what this did with that bit of information. Okay, so that's that. JSON.text. Okay, that's fine. Right, so it's extracted that. Then in here, we should be using the content, not all of the JSON. Okay, so one thing you can do is we could try this. Because everything is coming with the backslashes and stuff, I would expect this to know what it should do. But let me try this and see if it makes a difference. No, it's a role assistant. We don't pay that. Okay, so just back here, just gonna see output content as JSON. Let me see, that makes that a lot better. Output content as JSON. So just gonna execute this again. Okay, so now I've asked it to output content. Yeah, that's much better. Okay, so you can see it's extracted all the content. Now what I had to do was take this output content as JSON, and then it comes out in the format that I want. So JSON format is basically what we've got here. Name, JSON lead, phone, blah blah blah, and then the rest of it. So with this now in the format that we want, we can now go to the refund evaluator, and I can say to the refund evaluator, actually, you don't want JSON message.content. So JSON message.content is essentially the comes from the previous step if it's $JSON. So let's put this into here and then tell it to execute this step. Let's see what it comes out with. It still says, what's it saying? All this. Oh, so let's try that. Let's see what that does. Okay, so that's JSON, but it's saying role assistant. Insufficient information provided to them. So once it escalated, why is it? You want a policy based on provided structure. Respond in JSON only. Use unstructured JSON input, right, to make your decision. So why does it not have enough? The driver dropped the vehicle. Why are you requesting a refund? You may be eligible for a full or partial refund if any of the following applies. Duplicate charges, service cancellation, driver no show, service error, charge or billing. Okay. So why does it not like this? Evaluate the refund policy for the following structured input. So got the input there. So its recommendation is to escalate this to a human, which is not what we want. JSON only. So I'll do that. So this is all part of the policy values of our time. Right. This might be that maybe the mini is not powerful enough for it. Let me try 4 turbo, but 4 turbo is quite expensive, but let's see if that makes any difference. So saying no structured input provided. Doing that. Okay. Evaluate the refund for the following structured input. So why does it not feel this is structured input? Does it see it as a string? Okay, let me try that. JSON dot parse. Okay, it doesn't like that. So object. Jeez, okay, so James path. So I think what it's not seeing is string refund. So it's time to go into Google. Okay. Go to JSON object. So JSON no parser. Okay, so the issue is that even though I'm giving it this choices box, it's seeing it as object. So that's like it's seeing it as a string rather than the actual content within it. So let me see if this is something that we want to do. Converting string to JSON object in function mode. I don't know how to do this, but okay, so I need to pass JSON and split the field. I wonder if it's because if I made this an expression, would it make any difference? Alright, it's an expression already. You're saying anything inside that is JavaScript. Let's see more. see what this comes up with, because this looks like what we're trying to do. So the workflow would leave you with these fields using your example. So do JSON.text, send output to JSON. Let me save this. Yeah, I thought so. So why is it not recognizing it? JSON.powers. For some reason it's not recognizing what I'm telling it to parse. Yeah. Okay, so let's run this again. Why does it not like JSON dot? It's undefined. JSON dot stringify. Okay, so it likes the stringify, doesn't like the parse. Okay, so let's execute this now. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, that's done it. So the stringify, so it's so what I was doing there is I recognize that here when you drag a variable from the left hand side and put it in the box in the middle here, at the bottom n8n tells you what it sees. So in my case, when I pull this across, it was showing object, which is essentially the string version of what a JSON object should look like. So with this now showing the actual text, I don't know why it wasn't working earlier. Maybe I had a typo, but you can see here that it's saying that this request is eligible, true, and the reason is that a service error as vehicle was dropped at the incorrect location. So we've got that. Now we've got two of the three aspects that we are using AI for complete. So now this is the very final one, and this is probably where we end today. So this one is specifically set up to generate emails based on what was the information I was provided in previous steps. So based on what we've got from ChatGPT, it's expecting the name of the of the person. So when you look at the previous steps, you'd be able to see where the name is. Do we have it here? So we've got name. I'm just going to drag name here. So you just drag it from the left hand side up here, and then we've got email. To the email there, date of transaction. Then you've got the amount charged. And refund reason. Okay, and then the eligible will come from the so these things that I've just populated came from the field extractor AI step, and then this next one will come from just the previous step, because this previous step did the evaluation. So refund evaluation result, is he eligible? So we'll just drag that in here. Eligible, and then the reason. Service error as vehicle dropped in whatever, and then recommended action is to approve. Okay, so now we've set up everything that this AI step needs to do its job. So everything is green, that means all the variables are matched. And then we've got within the system prompt, you are a professional customer service assistant for a towing company. Your task is to generate clear and courteous email responses to customers regarding their refund requests. So let's execute the step and see what happens. Okay, so in the content here is giving us the output in JSON. So what would happen downstream is we'll take that JSON and then use that to build out what we want it to look like. But if we say that we want the output to be in JSON only and run it here, because it's giving us a stringified version of that JSON. Let's run it again so it's clear, it's easier on the eye. Perhaps, I don't know, if it puts it all in the content field, it might not be. So it was asked to return just the email body. Not sure why it's okay. So the email body is just what we need for this step. Let's see why it's taking. It's taking a while to come back, maybe because I've confused it. I've asked it not to include any JSON, and then I'm saying the output should be JSON. So I wonder if that's confusing it. Let me remove that, and then just make it to simplify that. And then just execute the step again. Just kill that. I'm just going to save it. Okay, still spinning. Yeah. Okay. So I think we're at time now. Let's see if that comes back. It's come back once already, and let me see what's going on. Okay, so I'm not sure why it's delaying this time. Maybe it's doing too many things. I'll just go back and then just refresh the screen. So I'm just going to execute this again, and then hopefully it runs to the end. Then we can see what the email generator has done. So just to summarize what we've done today, we essentially went to a job board where people place jobs and tasks they want completed using AI and automation. And we've taken one of the jobs, and the whole idea of that job was to create a refund request workflow. And we've started the process of generating that refund request workflow. This is typically how anyone that got that job would implement that job and hopefully get paid once the customer is happy. Now, this is something that you could consider implementing in your business. If you receive emails and you want AI to handle the responses to the email, handle the evaluation, some of the reasoning behind the purpose for which you've received the email, then this is a similar flow that you'd follow in order to complete that task. Now, there are still other things to be done. For instance, the email that's come out of this email evaluation step will then be pushed into Slack for a human to then look at. So that's where we'll stop for today. If you want to know more about how to do this and how we'd finish the rest of the project, do feel free to leave a comment and I'll be sure to get back to you. But you can see here, subject refund approved for recent towing service. Dear Jason Lee, thank you for reaching out to us. So it's done the email, it's done everything. The next step will be to then do the Slack, because that's what the person who posted the job asked for. So AI generates a professional email draft based on the policy, approvals, conditional approvals, and declines. And then the next things will be to look at this third item, which is the first level review via Slack, and then there's a second level review, and then send the email to the requester. So that's typically how some of these jobs tend to go. And hopefully you have learned something, especially with n8n, how to fiddle with the JSON payload and the things that you could potentially create. Are there any questions? Let me see if there are any questions. Okay, so no questions at the moment. So it leaves me to say thank you very much for joining us tonight. Next week, we may continue with this. If it's something that you want us to carry on doing, do leave a comment in the comment section. If not, we may pick something else and try and implement. But it'd be nice to see this through to the end, I suppose. So, okay, so until next time, have a good evening and I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.